Alright, doing a VOD review for Troll Plant. Let's take a look on Ghost Deck. That'll be plenty. Get us out of the blind. Good basics so far, obviously try and clear the blind as fast as possible. Love the riffraff pickup. Yeah, defensive is fine technically. I think I actually would have. So riffraff is a good joker. I think one of the best early game jokers for two reasons. One, you're going to be able to dig through a lot of jokers, and two, it's going to provide you economy for the jokers that you sell. After I opened that pack, I probably would have gone ahead and hexed the riffraff, then taken the joker, because these jokers that you're picking up, you're planning on selling, right? You want to have as much money as possible, and so while you won't be able to make $5 here, I think, unless you sold all three, which you definitely could because of the hexed riffraff, you won't get any interest otherwise. Now, defensive being just foil, I get it, 50 molt, but I'd probably be looking to sell all these jokers besides the riffraff and hex. Getting out in one, though, again, it's great. Cartomancer, also great. Egg's very good to hold on to, good for economy, temperance value. Hangman's fine there. Yeah, flush will get you out in one, no problem with that. We don't have any value in the deck to dig for right now, so just getting out with as many hands as possible is good. Timing on selling that hex. What are we at? 7? Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. Or is a good pickup. I'd open the pack first, though, just in case we found like a hermit or something. Magician's okay here. I'd either consider that or... Ooh, Poly. Nice. Okay, I probably would Magician after that. Oh, we want to sell? Sell. Okay, so I understand that you kept the Heart Joker for scoring here. I don't think you need it. Almost for sure, you're going to pick up a Joker that's going to help you get out of the blind, or a tarot card. You also now have two Magicians in the deck, two lucky cards, as well as that Poly King. You can get out of here with a couple flushes. I would have definitely sold that to dig for the Jokers that you actually want for the late game, right? With Riffraff, I also would not have sold the Riffraff. I would have held on to that for sure. No reason to sell it right now anyway, so definitely hold on to it at least until the end of until the next shop. But Riffraff can be really good for digging for those late game jokers that are at common level that are really good, right? So like Hanging Chad, Photograph. Hanging Chad right now, especially with what you found already, can be really good. All right, definitely holding on to that death for the Poly King. I probably wouldn't use the wheel here. Wheel just doesn't really do anything for you. I'm probably going to throw a Lovers on the King. Try and build into a flush 5 of Kings at the moment. Whoa, hey, slow yourself down. Take a look at what you're doing here. $0 reroll right there. You held on to that Joker for a reason. Totally fine with that. Chaos is a good Joker. But we're leaving it be. Not great. I'd also consider opening the standard pack, as even though you have a Polychrome King, we are still looking for red seals, blue seals. These are things that can win the game. Glass cards, right? We still want to dig through those packs. All right, well, you got the Lovers there, so that kind of worked. Still would have been good to put it on that second King as well. Yep, digging for that for the death is fine. We don't want to dig too deep, though. I'd probably just play the flush here. It's a little scary because now we could lose if we don't hit the hearts. Yeah, we dug a little too deep without enough scoring. It's a little awkward, but one lost life is not the biggest deal here. Blue seal's good. Reroll's good. I would be looking to pick up that crystal ball. I know it's going to take your low on economy, but you have a Cartomancer. We expect this game to go later, being on like white stake, right? So we do expect to see the game go into a more high economy situation. So I definitely pick up that crystal ball. It's just going to give you more utility to work with. Alright, I'm going to fast forward you into the PvP here. We put this blue seal on a card a little too early, and we put it on a random 10. It might seem kind of contradictory, but we probably want to put that on a card that we want, right? Like, for instance, I'd be happy putting that blue seal on that Wild King, or even perhaps like the Lucky Jack you have. That one less so, but like putting on an offsuit card when right now you are looking to build into hearts just doesn't make too much sense. You want to be holding on to cards that can potentially give you value, right? Like if you end up in a situation that you need to play that card instead because you've been holding on to it and you didn't finish off a flush or something, you want to be able to play that card. Right now you can't really do that since it's an offsuit card. All right, your opponent took that blind. Hopefully you find a temperance. You've been holding on to the egg, which I do like. Death on the King is great. Don't know if I discard that king. Yeah, I do like this. Trying to dig for maybe a queen to strength. Let's strength the queens. Okay. So let's think about what your end game goal is here, right? You just strength the 8 into a 9. Doesn't do anything for you. You're more likely to change that queen into a heart than you are to ever get that 8 up to a king or even a jack per se, right? I mean, yeah, you can get it from 8 to go to 9 to 10 to jack. That's not too hard. But what's the point of it, right? What are you doing it for? You have polychrome kings. You're probably looking at building into flush 5 right now. If you're going to do that, the easiest way to get more kings is to strength your queens and change their suits. There's a lot of suit changers out there. They're way more common, right, than finding like 3 strength. You have lovers, you have sun cards. You also have 5 of a kind that you can play temporarily as you build into flush 5. So I definitely would have strengthened both queens there instead. Yeah, I think you're going to clear blind regardless of the order, but that is technically correct, so that is good. Acrobat can be very good. Probably sell the hand size here. I wouldn't sell Chaos. Yeah, I mean, Chaos is just $5 around at the very least, right? Another thing, we are a little low economy, so I understand not rolling down too much. Again, we just have yet to find a temperance, which would be fantastic with that egg sitting there. But we do want to check into these packs. Packs are something that's worth rolling under interest for, just because you can find purple seals, which can snowball into additional purple seals with deaths. Red seals still very much important. I understand selling the tower. I actually wouldn't mind just using tower in this instance on like a low card that's off suit or like a 7 in particular. If you're not already aware, 7 is just the worst card in the game. There's really nothing to build into with it. So I wouldn't hate putting that tower on that. That way if the game comes down to an idle later, it can really be helpful. Okay, again, we need to think about what we're doing in the shop here a little bit, right? These standard packs, really want to open these up. Totally fine not opening up the planet packs either. but I'd also consider this this planet card, get the Mars, the 4 of a kind level, just because you are playing with kings, right? And yes, while the end goal is to play more than 4 of them, this is a good temporary point to help build some sustainability as the blinds increase. You'll be able to make sure you meet that goal, and in addition, you can potentially do well in the PvP round if you don't draw your hand. You still have a 50 card deck, so finding all 5 of your kings may not happen. And in that case, you still want to be able to put up some kind of presentable score since you are at 2 lives. So it'd probably be ideal to pick up that planet level as well. I'd probably just play a teaser flush here, especially since we have Acrobat. We want to make sure. Yeah, I definitely think we wanted to play a flush to start this. We had plenty of cards. We're going to find more hearts, right? Because you can basically play one flush, use your discards, use your other hands to throw away to find the cards that you're looking for. But now with 2 hands left, you're kind of stuck, right? You have to play and keep 5 hearts. And so you're digging a little less further into your deck than you'd probably like to, because you want to find that second king. I wouldn't necessarily foil this jack just because it doesn't look like we're going to win this PvP round. We're already scoring quite low, and I'd rather put that on a king. Now, again, you can strength this up to a king. That is definitely very feasible, but I would definitely wait and kind of see what they do. No reason to do it yet. Are we pause buffering here? No, we are not. Okay. Another thing is, in these PvP rounds, it is part of the rules that whoever has the lowest score needs to go first, right? You can, of course, play first if you want to when you don't have the lowest score, but it is more beneficial when you have more points on the board to wait and make your opponent make the first move. We've now given them perfect information. They know exactly what they need to score to beat the PvP round. They can now choose to potentially not play glass cards that they maybe would have played otherwise to ensure the victory, which means broken glass potential. Maybe they decided, oh, I can actually hold on to this gold card instead of playing the gold card. Basically, you've given them the opportunity to get as much value out of this round as possible, and now they can treat the PvP round like a normal blind, right? So instead of them not knowing what the finishing score is to win the round, they have an end goal, just like a normal blind. So we definitely want to be patient. Just wait for your opponent. As soon as you had that 130 points on the board, you should have just waited and let them play their hands out. What did they score? Okay, so this is kind of what I mean. Your opponent scored 3,800. Almost for sure they can score more than that. But they decided, I can't quite score 43,000. Had you not played all your hands, perhaps they put up like 25,000 and they used cards that they could provide them value if they had stayed in their hand. So instead, we've now allowed them to get maximum value out of the round because they knew they weren't going to win this round. They were positive, right? Oh, I can't score 43,000, so I'm just going to get as much value out of this round as possible. That could come back to bite you in the end, as you're allowing your opponent to know for sure how to play the round. Splash doesn't matter. These are both not good. Your Joker is going to help you get out of the blind. I would not really get rid of anything. Yeah, it's just not going to do much for you. Oh, okay. Passing up on Chaos. Again, that's good economy. I would have sold this. I don't even know the name of this Joker that gives you chips for a flush, honestly. It's just not too relevant. So I definitely would have bought that Chaos. That's just $5 at minimum for a reroll, right? So it's going to save you money. Again, we need to open up these standard packs. Death on the king is great, though. All right, plenty of money to work with. Let's see how we handle this shop. I wouldn't skip the planet pack when you don't find what you're looking for here. You might as well level up another planet. It's asteroid protection, not to mention when you are in certain games where you're digging for value, meaning like, oh, I'm trying to find my purple seals, so I'm going to play a pair instead of playing my actual flush or something like that as I continue to use my hands to dig through my deck. It can be ideal to have that like extra planet level. It's because it does both things. It provides you protection from asteroids in the short term, especially in this like early game situation. Like picking up a straight level early can be really good, even though your end game build is never going to be straights. So it can be really good there. Gift card also fantastic for providing economy, just providing extra value to all your consumable cards. Fool for Death, very nice. Hold on to the Emperor. I would not death this jack. Great, you did not. Fine, getting rid of that 9, not a problem. So with those tarot cards that you just sold, right, we already had $25. We're already going to hit max interest. Hold on to those cards. That will block the next shop from showing you those cards. You do want to find more deaths. You want to find temperance, hermits. If you hold on to that star card, that moon card, the shop cannot put those into the shop. So when the game is going through the seeds order, if the next tarot card it's supposed to show you is a moon, but you already have it in your consumable, it's now going to skip that and go to the next tarot card that it's supposed to show you. Could be a death, right? And that can make a big difference. You can just find those cards you need so much faster. Really need to find some kind of re-trigger. Again, we do need to be opening those standard packs. It's a really big deal trying to find those seals. Hermit's fine there. Don't really need Smiley, but I'd probably take it over the Hard Joker. Bean is really good. Yeah, Crafty Joker. We gotta get rid of that guy. He's just not doing anything. Not the Cartomancer. That's too good. No. Okay. This seems like a slight issue with recognizing how we're going to win the game. You are not going to win the game with the Crafty Joker and the Lusty Joker, right? The plus 15 that you're currently getting from this and the plus 80 from this is not going to do it. When we play that Flush 5, we're starting with like 10,000 points, which is more than these two are going to provide with you. Same thing with this X2 of the Flush. This is fine temporarily, but that Cartomancer was so much more valuable than any of those 3 Jokers. Acrobat's an X3, that's great. Photograph currently is an X2, but again, with re-triggers, we're looking more at like an X8. So Photograph can be really good, but even Photograph is really more of a mid-game Joker than an end-game Joker. So especially Cartomancer being your only tarot generation at the moment, holding on to that would have been very good. I don't think I've seen you look at your... There we go. Sorry, I was about to say look at your deck. So we have 7 total kings, 6 of which are kings of hearts. I would probably be digging to play a flush 5 at this point, or a flush house as well. We can do a flush house with the kings and 10s, or kings and 5s, or kings and 3s, or aces as well. Any of them. But that's just going to be so much higher scoring than just playing a normal flush. So I'd certainly be digging for that, or if not that, then a 5 of a kind. But especially with a planet level card in hand, I'd be discarding this 10 of clubs. It's just not doing anything for us. Again, like if that was on the 10 of hearts, it's fantastic, right? You can hold on to it. I like it on the 3 of hearts because that can build into your flush house. I don't like playing the kings here. Yeah, I just don't think this is going to be enough scoring if our opponent's been doing anything decent. I guess we'll find out. Again, we're playing way too fast, right? You played all your hands. You showed them exactly what's up. They still have 3 hands left to play. They now get to choose, oh, I can beat that, so I'm going to. Or I can't, so I'm going to go for value. Not to mention, as you improve at the game, like honestly, most situations, if you watch like some of the higher level players play, if their opponent shows them their final hand, especially with calculator, you can min-max it and just beat it while providing yourself as much value as you can and still win the round. So we really want to slow it down on that. Yeah, see, I mean, I'm betting they could score higher than that, but they knew they didn't have to, so they just barely beat it. Flush levels can be decent, though, to help you get through the blinds. I would skip this. That ace isn't really doing anything for you, and we want to make our deck smaller, right? Right now, we have 3 discards, 4 hands. That's getting us through an additional 30 cards of our deck. That means there's still going to be roughly 14 cards that we can't see in the PvP rounds. We want to minimize that, if not just entirely eliminate it, right? There's other vouchers that'll get you additional hands and discards, which can be a little easier. But if we're going to cryptid anything, it needs to be a card that we want. We're talking red seal steals, purple seals, or like your polychrome king. But unfortunately, like, yeah, the spectral pack whiffed, but just accept the whiff, hit skip, move on. Those 2 generic aces aren't going to do anything for you. We want that Midas mask. I see you're about to reroll. Yeah, you're hitting it. Okay. So Midas mask, right? If we had gone back and looked at our deck right now, yes, we have those polychrome kings, and then we have other face cards that we just don't care about. Midas mask is great for economy. It has 2 purposes. One, you are just getting gold cards, right? You already have money, so it doesn't really matter as far as like, oh, okay, I'm going to play 3 hands to generate gold cards, right? Cool, that's fine. You've done that. If golden ticket pops up and you have retriggers, you can make hundreds of dollars around with golden ticket. Midas mask is the way to do that. It is an absolutely great way to generate economy. Again, you don't need this crafty joker. I would have sold Midas mask for it and put that in there. Then I'd play all my non-king polychrome face cards when I can to make them into gold cards and get out of the blinds playing heart flushes, because you have plenty of scoring to get out of the blinds right now. I would use that judgment. Doesn't do anything but generates value, which is nice. Deja vu. Huge, huge. Save that for that red seal king. Faceless joker is okay. No reason to sell that. That provides temperance value, right? You got it for free off a judgment. It can sit there. It's not going to do you any harm. You even have some wild cards, which, I mean, yeah, it's not going to provide you that much value, but there's no reason to sell it. It can now show up in the shop again, so you're blocking 1 less joker as well.
Come on. There you go.
Okay, so another thing to point is when we play this blind, I'm going to slow it down a little bit. We have Faceless Joker. We want to make money. Money is how you win this game. If you are struggling to understand how your opponent is doing better than you in games, one thing that I literally do after every single session of playing Balatro PvP is I open up the logs and I look at the log parser tool on the Balatro multiplayer website. If there's a game that I don't understand how I lost, or I'm not quite sure exactly how I lost, I look at that log parser. 9 times out of 10, your opponent is going to have spent more money than you did. The money total in that recap is including rerolls. Rerolls are also a separate thing that you can see on there, but it does include rerolls. Since you are in the same seed, the farther you get in the shop, the better chance you have of winning, because you're going to see more jokers, see more tarot cards. You need to generate money. That is the entire purpose of these blinds. Everything that's not a PvP round is to generate money and to thin your deck and manipulate your deck. So I would have played a straight there, ace 2 3 4 5, held on to those face cards. Then you get this 3rd face card with this jack of spades. Discard those 3 face cards that you don't need. Make $5. Of course, the red seal placement is great, though. That is exactly what we're looking for. We want more copies of that. That's how we win the game. That king re-triggered a bunch of times. Sorry if you hear the coughing. I'm getting over a flu. Yeah, again, we want that faceless value. I mean, what's the point of that Joker up there if it's not doing anything for us? You're just rushing through this blind, but we're not making any money.
I forgot.
I think you might have just realized that one. Oh, okay. In Balatro PvP, always, always, always pick up the blank voucher. I have a video that explains some of the changes to vouchers, but essentially vouchers have been reworked in the PvP that it's always going to provide you with a tier 1 voucher in the shop. So it's choosing between 1 and 16. And if it provides you blank voucher a second time after you've purchased it, instead of going to a different tier 1 voucher, it will provide you the tier 2 voucher. Now at that point, if you have both blank voucher and antimatter, then it will then go to the next tier 1 in the order and provide you with that and repeat the process, right? But blank voucher, extra Joker slot, super important in PvP. Also, you're on your last life, I would roll all the way down. We don't want to die, right? So I'd absolutely spend all my money trying to make my hand better. Again, we really want to be playing the flush 5. Or at least 5 of a kind. It's just that flush with just 2 of those is just really not going to do enough for us here. All right, let's take a look. Okay, it's a flush house at least. Yeah, I think we need to kind of work on how we're discarding and everything, right? We just have eliminated some value. I'd rather play the flush house. Yeah.
Just in case.
I don't, in the situation that you put yourself in here, I don't hate holding on to that king, just because perhaps we want to play a flush 5. Well, we do want to play a flush 5 if you were to draw another king. Flush house is going to be a little bit better for you. Yeah. Again, we're just playing so fast. We're giving our opponent all the information.
That's better than my flush too.
This may get you to survive. Judging by the length of the video, actually, I suppose it should get you to survive. Let's see, they got 12k.
Why does it take people so long to play their last game?
Okay, yeah.
They have that.
So again, right, they're scoring 16,000 because they said, hey, I can't beat that, so I'm just going to get maximum value. Cryptid, great. Throw it on that red seal king only. I'd strength up that jack, and then I would discard those 3 face cards. Oh, no, we got rid of faceless. Just kidding. Don't do that. But I would strength up the jacks. Good job.
I want the red seal.
Yep, worth digging for. I totally agree with digging like this.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, you should be able to get out of the blind, no problem, though. 4 of a kind gets you out easy.
I clear with this, right? Okay, that was close.
Planet level will be good here, right? You just barely cleared that blind. Being able to get out that way would be fantastic in the future. I'd probably just fool and hold on to the strength. Be able to upgrade those queens, get to your flush 5.
Okay, let's...
Again, if you're going to hold on to a face card, why'd you hold on to the 10 that you can't play versus the 3 that you can play, right? Let's slow down a little bit when we're playing. It kind of looks like you're playing a little bit too fast. Oh, sorry.
Oh, fuck you too, game.
I'd get rid of that 10. Oh.
Ah. I can't sell it. It's too late.
I mean, there's no point to sell it. You already have maximum economy. But yeah, it was like you're digging super hard. That planet level is only going to matter if you find the flush 5. You're digging for that red seal king. It's way more important to cryptid that for the PvP, right, than it is to have that planet level, especially of a random flush. I would rather hold on to that strength, honestly, because it gives us a better chance of playing the flush 5 in this coming PvP. I'd sell golden here, buy the Cola, and I'd sell the Cola for the brainstorm.
Or with... No, this. Yeah.
Alright, we're worrying about this a little too soon. The beauty of brainstorm. After each hand, you can move your jokers around. So you can get more value from it throughout the PvP, right? Like, you don't have to start with it on Acrobat. You can start with it on the Photograph or on the Lusty or the Flush Joker, but it's definitely not going to start on Acrobat.
Come on. Red seal.
Good, we got rid of the planet level. That's smart. Again, move the Acrobat. No reason to have it there right now, right? You're going to play a pair of aces here, put the Lusty in front. Why not? Not going to hurt us. A few extra points.
Thank you.
Yep, we got it there. I'd probably strength these queens too. I know they're the offsuit ones, but that's totally fine.
Okay.
Ooh, low on the hits. Unfortunate. Yeah, without the re-triggers, it can be hard to get that.
Oh.
Yeah, hanging Chad. Having that re-trigger makes a big difference. Right, okay, so this is what I was talking about with the golden ticket. You can see the amount of red seals they have. They have that polychrome on the red seal as well. So every time they're playing this jack, I mean, with the brainstorm especially, oh my god, they were printing so much money. If you go into your log directory and you can still find the date for this game, look up the money difference between you and your opponent. It was probably astronomical. So yeah, I think a big focus is we're a little too tunnel visioned on kind of the first thing we saw. We held on to this Lusty Joker the entire game, and it's just not how you're going to win the game. We need to win the game through deck manipulation and economy. So we needed to hold on to that Cartomancer, and we needed to provide value through our jokers, right? So like when we had Faceless Joker, we needed to be discarding our face cards to make money. We don't really need scoring to get through the blinds on white stake. You need very little to do so. The biggest thing to practice looks to be min-maxing, which is just really the practice of barely beating the blinds to get as much value as possible. Now, you were a little bit dry this game as far as what was provided to you, right? Like you didn't have any purple seals to dig for. You didn't have an economy joker early. But even the joker we did get right away, Riffraff, we sold. And that could have provided you with multiple different economy jokers that are at common level. Not to mention that Riffraff itself provides you economy. So, yeah, I definitely would say you need to focus on building your economy and then also kind of slowing down a little bit to make sure we're getting as much value each round as we can and having a solid late game plan. What is the rest of this video? Oh, we have a second game. Okay, I'm not going to go through the entire second game. $25 skip on small blind, no issue with that. I will take a look at the early game here just to because the early game is so important in Balatro. Really, I want to look at the shop decisions more than anything else. All right, we have $8. 2 scoring jokers that we don't need to beat the big blind. I like opening the pack as well. Chaos, wonderful. Hit that reroll. Mail-in rebate, phenomenal joker. One of the best economy jokers you can find. All right, let's see how you play it. Okay, we have $10 to make right here. Really unfortunate that that 9 is debuffed, but you still have $10 to make. Okay, that's unfortunate. You can find 2 more hearts, right? You have 4 hands to play 2 flushes or a flush and a straight, but that's $10. You now have $5 instead of $10, and you discarded 4 cards instead of 5, so you're going to see 1 card less deep into your deck than you could have otherwise. All right, you're discarding it this time. I think you might have just said oops, so maybe you realized, which is great as long as you know. That's the important part, right? We want to learn. Hey, we found the last 9. Fantastic. We were out of discards. Unfortunate. But hey, that happens. Did we discard when we didn't discard a 9? We have 3 discards here. We discard the initial 9. What was this last discard?
Oh, it still looks.
Yeah, so right here, I actually probably would have played the 10-6-3-2. There's 2 reasons. We have 4 hands left. We only need 2 hands to beat the blind. 3 hands give us a little bit of a buffer. Now, had you played this 10-6-3-2 and you did not draw a 9 or a heart, then I probably consider discarding because you do want to make sure you clear the blind, right? But so you discard that, and then you'd have been able to, or sorry, played that, and you'd been able to discard this 9. That would have taken it to $15. That would have gotten you $3 in interest at the end of the round. This is what I was talking about with those early game decisions to get as much economy as possible. You actually saw all 4 of your 9s, just unlucky that one of them's debuffed. But we want to dig through the deck as much as possible to get as much value as we can. The only value we have in the blinds right now is mail-in joker. So since we have mail-in, you want to be saving your discards to discard whatever card is on that mail-in. The points you can find, right? Again, you can get that 600, no problem. There's a flush right there. Great, you're halfway there. You're more than halfway there. Right? And boom, we have the second flush. We're out with a hand to spare. So had we played that other hand at the start and discarded the 9, we would have had $18. So we would have gotten an additional $2 here off of this. And yeah, I understand we have $25 from the skip, but truly, the more you can dig, the absolute better. I'm putting that Deja Vu on the King of Heart. No, we want the Deja Vu. Red seals are the most busted part of this game. Those retriggers are amazing, right? The 2 most popular builds are going high card with things like Baron and Mime, where if you have a red seal, Chariot, King, you're golden, right? You're going to be scoring E16, E20 at the end of the game. The other is retrigger builds with things like Idol, Bloodstone, Dusk, Seltzer, Hanging Chad, Photograph. Red Seal is an additional trigger, not to mention Red Seal on a steel in the retrigger builds is also fantastic, right? So we just denied ourselves at minimum X 2.5 because of the X 1.5 twice, or X 2.25. So Red Seal, way more important than that Blue Seal. Scoring Joker's fine. Scoring Joker's fine again. No real need to buy the Hierophant. It just doesn't do enough to your scoring. So we're looking to discard 7s. So we want to play junk, essentially, and find our 7s. So I wouldn't have discarded there. I would have played there. And see, we got 0 value because we only need 1 flush to clear the blind. We absolutely could have saved the Sun card, played 3 junk hands to discard 3 hands with 7s, and then used the Sun with 2 cards left that were hearts. Made a flush and then played it and cleared the blind. So we could have left with an additional $15, $20 easily. So I'm going to stop it there. I think that kind of shows you the main thing to focus on is this kind of like early game decision making, right? It's the same thing if you were to have like business card, make sure you're playing face cards, or if you have faceless, you want to play crap hands to discard your face cards and then just clear the blind. So definitely the main thing to focus on there is going to be that early game economy and then knowing what that late game decision making is. Highly recommend you just kind of slow down a bit during your playing. I mean, I know obviously I had this playing at a faster speed, so it makes you look like you're playing faster. But there's definitely a couple times where it looks like you did catch the mistake just a few seconds after you made it. And really taking the time each round at the start of the round, right? So, like, as you leave this shop, right here, right, you should be looking at, okay, what can I do to get the most value possible out of this round? Joker level would be nice, but we're not going to rely on that 1 in 4 chance. We're not going to play all 4 hands. We just don't have the space for that with the scoring that we have. I can discard as many 8s as possible. 2 8s in hand already, fantastic. I'm discarding 3 2 8 8 7. Boom, gone. $10 made. Again, we saved this 8. There's no reason to do that. Oh, we drew the other 8. Discard that 8. Yeah, so we just made less money than we could have, which means our opponent could have made more money than us, and they're now digging further into the shop than we are and finding better jokers to win the game. So yeah, that's really what I have for you right now. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. Happy to help again as well. But I definitely say try and play some games with this in mind, where every time you're going into a blind, be thinking about the best way to maximize value from the jokers you have and the cards in your deck, whether that be playing lucky cards, finding purple seals, discarding for faceless joker, whatever it may be. We want to get the most value possible so that we can find the best jokers for the late game. I appreciate you submitting this video. And again, if you have any questions, definitely talk to me, and I'll be glad to help.